Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. We're finally back with Doctor Who Classic Season 1, Episode 21, The Keys of Marinus, The Sea of Death. Part 1 of 6 in the fourth serial, technically. Or fifth, if you want to include obviously Marco Polo that was in between. Obviously, we have missed, but I have secured the novel version, which deals with all the events that took place in the deleted episodes. So I'll be reading that very soon. I'm probably going to be reading that as a whole and then getting the videos out as a whole. So episodes 14 to 20 will be covered very soon. But we're here to talk about the Keys of Marinus. More importantly, the Sea of Death, the first episode, the introduction to some new characters, new locations, and, in general, what the premise of this serial is going to be about. Spoilers ahead, of course, if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. It's all on BrickBox. I think William Hartnell is a phenomenal Doctor. I think he plays it in such a different way than I've ever seen, from Tennant to Smith to Eccleston to Capaldi to Whittaker. I've technically seen McGann as a Doctor. I've seen John Hurt, and all these other iterations. But I want to say this. I love how William Hartnell says that. He'll say something like but I believe, what I think annoying is Marco Polo must have secured this better relationship and he's better respect of Ian. Because he's like, oh, that teacher of yours is so elegant and smart and brave and all this. And he truly was. He's the one who solidified the friendship with the guy who lived in the tower in this episode, freeing obviously the Doctor and Sarah and Barbara in the process and, making himself useful. And I just thought this episode was such a good introduction to what this is. They have to go and collect these keys of Marinus. We got introduced to these people in the rubber suits, and I'm guessing we'll probably learn more about them, and maybe they'll ally themselves and stop this battle for the keys, so they can live in harmony. I mean, I don't know because the guy in the tower was stabbed. So basically, it's now the Doctor, Ian, and Barbara, and Sarah, four people who don't actually care about anything to do with them or this planet, but because there's a force field around the TARDIS, they have to find the keys. But technically, the finding the keys is now pointless because the only inhabitants of the planet are the people who are now trying to kill the Doctor, who the Doctor probably doesn't care about because the switch is in that room for the force field. So it's kind of a confusing mess they are in. But I love the teleportation devices that the four of them are given. Barbara is elsewhere and she's disappeared as always and usual. Ian remains to be one of my all-time favorite companions in any shape or form or any season or series. He's so likable, he's so intelligent and brave and smart. His relationship with the Doctor is my favorite point. And I believe, by the time I get to the end of season 3 of William Hartnell, and I've gone through all the missing stuff and learned all about that, I truly believe Hartnell has potential to be one of my all-time favorite Doctors. His charisma, his intelligence, his age shows in how he acts, how he talks to people. There's a bit in this episode. Ian and Barbara are miles ahead, and then Sarah's walking with the Doctor, and then they wait for the Doctor, and the Doctor's like, "Well, don't just stand around. Wait, keep going." And he's walking ahead. Then there's this other bit where Sarah drops her shoes in the acid pool, and then she has like this breakdown, and then Ian gives her the shoes, and then they walk away, and the Doctor's like, "Well, if you gave her a shoe, she'd had better fit." And then you just see the smile on Ian's face. You'll love the relationship these characters have formed from the first episode where they judged the Doctor so hard to an episode of Edge of Destruction where they were judged by the Doctor. It's this relationship that I think was formed in Marco Polo, because apparently Marco Polo was one of the most important and significant serials in Doctor Who history. And obviously, I am truly excited to read it and learn about how these relationships were formed, where the better respect was found. But ultimately, this introduction to the Keys of Marinus, I think, was brilliant. I like how they showed these pods. I like how they showed how dangerous the pods are if acid leaks in, because one of the suits didn't have a body inside, so obviously they had melted. or disintegrated, whichever way you want to look at it. But ultimately, this was a brilliant introduction to the keys of Marinus. I just love classic Doctor Who now. If William Hartnell's this good, we've heard so much about doctors from, Troughton upwards. Hartnell and Troughton were two of the doctors that we never really spoke about in comparison to Pertwee and the Bakers and Davidson and whatnot. But I just love the guy. I think he fit the vibe of what the 60s was. He fit the vibes of what Doctor Who is. And, he resembles of what Capaldi is. But Capaldi's just got a bit of Smith in him, that elegance, that livelihood. Hartnell was just he barely ever cracks a smile, but I'm pretty sure that will come in time. So, a brilliant, brilliant episode. I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. I truly love classic Doctor Who, and I'm going to be getting back to it. I may be reviewing the one today, and probably tomorrow is when the next ones will come. But I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. I'm glad to be back reviewing classic Doctor Who, and I'm hoping to get the entirety of William Hartnell done by the end of June or July. Probably, July, sorry, not June. June's like 14 days away from ending. So, yeah, by the end of July, I want to get the first 3 Doctors. So Hartnell, Troughton, and Pertwee done by Christmas, with next year finishing off the entirety of Doctor Who, ready for the 60th anniversary. So by next November of 2023, I want all 12 Doctors plus Whittaker's first, all 13 technically. And some spin-offs, Sarah Jane, Torchwood, and the rest of it all completed and done. I already started Doctor Who, Christopher Eccleston, Rose. I'm going to be getting back into them very soon. So stay tuned for more Doctor Who content coming your way from classic and new Who. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. As I said, hit the subscribe button, leave a like, and let me know down below your thoughts on the keys of Marinus, the Sea of Death. See you in the next one. Goodbye.